This video shows how to produce R-Markdown documents in HTML, Word, or PDF formats. This is the standard window that you see screen when you open R-Studio. The top left quadrant shows you the source code, source file. The bottom left shows the console, all the codes that you run and the source window. They're going to run down here. This is the main R program, the standard R program you would run without RStudio. On the right side, the top part has the our environment and history and all the data files that you would be working with in your system. And the bottom right has the options for installing packages, browsing files, looking at the plots, getting help for R and RStudio, things like that. But the purpose of this video is to produce R Markdown documents. So you need to go to our Markdown platform, and in order to do that you can click on this new file, and here are all the options that you see. If you click on our script, this is the standard R script area that we already have here. There is option for our notebook, and there is Shiny, and there are other options that you have. But what I really want to do in this video is to work in this R Markdown. And then if I click in here, it's going to have options for document, presentation, Shiny, and working from template. But what I want to do is create a document that would have all the code and the output that you work in R, that can be compiled together in this document. So the first thing, it's a good idea to give it a title instead of keeping it untitled, is to produce R Markdown documents. That's what we're going to be doing, and put the author. Here are three options, either HTML or PDF or Word. HTML document, you need a kind of a web browser that you can open with. PDF, of course, you need a PDF reader, and for Word documents, you need Microsoft Word. But anyway, the option HTML and Word, they're straightforward. You don't need to do anything additional. But if you want to produce PDF documents, then you are going to have it requires that you have MikTeX on Windows, or MacTeX and Mac computers, or Tech Live and Linux. But if you don't have any of those programs installed, you can write one extra code command or package. You have to install a package for that. So for that purpose, I'm going to do this at the end. First, I'm going to start with HTML, then I'm going to go to Word, and then I'll go to PDF. So let's see. Once you hit OK, this is what you see on your screen. Now, as you can see, here's the title, here's the author, here's the date that you would see for the date when you worked on it, and here's the output format is going to be HTML document. So what I normally like to do is I like to keep the first, this is called the R chunk. You need to start, so this area where you start with the tilde sign. It's on your keyboard. It's the very top left key with the tilde sign. So it's backslash tick mark. But anyway, that's how you start your R command, and you need to put this bracket and R setup. So all of this, when you start like this is called the R chunk, and all the R program that you want to run has to go within this chunk. But outside this area, you can write comments anywhere. You can write your uh, comments or notes, but there is a certain way of writing these comments. If you start with this pound sign, this is a heading, um, and if you put two pound signs, two hash signs, and then it's a subheading, or it's called heading 1 and heading 2, and it goes heading 1, heading 2, 2, and then if you put three signs, then it's heading level. It's heading level 3, and that's how you would organize your notes and comments. Okay, so and then within this area you can write other things, so let's say if you want to put a bullet sign here, point bullet point 1, and that's how it's going to be. But what I like to do here is I want to delete everything that the information that shows at the very beginning. I like to keep this because I can write additional comments, or I can write the code for packages and other options that I may want to add in later. But what I want to do in this example is I want to use package. So I can do it right here. Install.packages. I'm going to use Old Ridge package. I have already installed on this computer, but I just wanted to show it for this purpose. So even though I already have, I wanted to show this so that you know how to do this. And then one other package I want to do is the Stargazer package. This is very useful. Okay, so this is, you see the warning signs. I can clear this area. Okay, so what I will probably do is delete this warning message. So what I normally do is right up here, I include warning equals to equals to false, and then I also like to do message equals to false. Okay, so if I do that, then whatever I see here, this is not going to end up in the final document. This is not going to be really helpful. What I also need to do is, once I install those packages, I need to put them in the library. So library, I need to put Old Ridge in the library, and then also I need to put Stargazer in the library. Now I'm going to run this whole chunk, and what I do to run this whole chunk is I can go up here and then run. I have options. You can run the selected, run current chunk, run next chunk. So you would normally, since I want to run this chunk, I would choose this one. Or if you had a whole document and if you wanted to run all, you could do this. But for easy, once you get used to it, you can just do Control Shift Enter, and then whichever chunk you are currently working in, it would run that chunk. So I'm going to run this one. Since I already installed these packages, I should not have probably done it. But here it is anyway, so I just reran all of those. So all the red warning messages I could have avoided. Now, so what I like to do, as I was showing earlier, I wanted to put a heading here, heading level, the basics, okay? And then I want to do next is I would like to load load data. Okay, I need some data to work with, and what I would like to do is now I'm going to insert a R chunk, and if I go up here, this option says insert a new code. Okay, instead of typing the little sign and the area for R chunk, I'm going to install or insert R chunk. I'm not going to do it bash D3 Python. Or if you wanted to do Python, you have all that SQL, stan. You have all that option, but I'm going to do insert R. And if you wanted to do this, the other option I'm going to say right here is, let's say if I wanted to do keyboard shortcut for inserting our chunk is I'm going to hit Control Alt and I believe. Yep. So Control Alt and I. It just gives me. So what you need to do here is Control plus Alt plus I. If you do all three keys at the same time, it's going to give you this R chunk. I can use this later, but anyway, let me go back here, and then what I want to do is what I want to do right here is load data. So what I would probably like to do, since I installed or I have this Ulrich in the library, I'm going to get the data. Let's say data from Ulrich, there is a data called MEA P01. This is this is a database for math and reading scores from I think public schools in Michigan. And if you wanted to know what this is, you can just run this question mark and MEAP 01. If I do that, I just want to run this particular line. I'm going to hit Control Enter, and then here is the information about MEAP 01. This is Ulrich source, Michigan Department of Education. And it says data loads lazily. It should probably show up. Oh, I have not even loaded this data, but let me do it. So I know what the data looks like. So if I enter, if I do Control Enter, or I want to run this whole chunk, so I'm going to do Control Shift Enter, and if I do that, here is you can see that the data is here, and there was a message. It says loads lazily. If you want to see this data, you need to click on this, and then only you are able to view. Okay, so if I click again, or if I click on this arrow, it shows me all the options, all the variables, the characteristic, its numerical, its numeric variable, integers, numeric. Anyway, so it shows that there are 1823 observations and 11 variables. If I wanted to see the data more clearly, I mean, I have on the console area, but if I click on this tab right here, it even shows up here. So don't get confused. That don't worry if you don't see your R script or the source window that you were seeing earlier. You can close this, or you can just click on the I was working with. Okay, I closed the data, but what I want to do with this data is, let's say I want to see the summary statistics for MEAP01. If I do that, then it's going to show me. I'm going to just hit Control Enter. What it does is, as I had shown earlier, for all those variables that are available, decode, bcode, math 4, read 4, lunch, so all these variables, you can read the description here. But by each variable, it's going to show the minimum value, first quartile, median, or the second quartile, or yes, and the mean, and the third quartile, and the maximum. So for each variable, that's how it's going to show. And if you have a lot of other variables, this is not the best way to report summary statistics. For that reason, I have installed, here is another, this is a base, summary is a base R command that you can calculate the summary statistics for this whole data. And there are other options. You can choose one individual variable. Let's say if you just wanted to see summary for MEAP 01, and then you can put a $sign, and let's say if you just wanted to see the summary stats for math 4, you can do that. Hit Control Enter. It just shows the summary for this particular variable. Okay, but that's what I am going to show is even better here. I'm going to do a stargazer. This is more useful for putting the regression results together. But here I'm just I wanted to show a quick way of producing different documents. So what I'm going to do is stargazer. I'm going to put the MEAP01, and what I need to do is I need to specify the type of the document, and you can do HTML or text. This is it's better if we choose text here. And then see what happens. Here is you're seeing the output right on the source window here. So this is much better way of seeing summary statistics. So here for each variable, there's the number of observation, mean, standard deviation, minimum, 25th percentile or first quartile, the 75th percentile or the third quartile, and here is the maximum. So this is a very nice way of representing summary statistics. But again, my goal here is to knit this now. I want to produce an HTML document. For that, I need to hit Control. Well, I could do Control Shift K, or I can click here knit, and then it's going to ask you to save this document somewhere, and then let me do my desktop. Here is R-Markdown document. Let me put it underscore HTML. Okay, so I'm going to specify the name there, and then if I hit save, it's going to produce that document. Since I'm doing this for the first time, it shows an error message. Basically, it says I have not installed the knitter package, so I need to install that. So let me see it here. Okay, I just added this line here, so I'm just going to run that, and it says updating loaded packages. Do you want to restart R? Let's do that. I also went ahead and added all the dependencies to be true, and it took me a while to install all of those. So it'll take you a while. Just if it asks you to restart the program, you may say no or yes. Give it a try. But at the end, you should be able to see this message that knitter successfully unpacked. Now, since I already have the results here, and my goal was to actually, I can remove this at the end. I mean, it would be okay, but I want to knit the document, and again, it is still showing me this error. So what I'm going to do is I should have put a separate R chunk here. I'm going to do Control Alt I, and then I am going to put all these install packages commands somewhere down here, and I may just remove this. So whatever you saw at the very beginning, probably these two lines should be fine. But now let's give it a try, and it looks like still the problem. I see the problem. So what I did here was I kept this install packages command, and actually once you install this, you don't need this anymore. A better way to install would probably be from packages area or even from tools area if you go to install packages. So what it needs to do is you need to put the install packages in comment so that it's not going to try to so this prevents from knitting the document. So now if I do it here, what it does is, okay, it's knitting, and then it gives me an HTML document. So here is the my title was produce R-Markdown documents. Here's the author, here's the date, the basics, the way I wrote with a £1 or the hashtag. This gave me the basics here, and these are the level 1 heading. Here is the same level of heading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to change this to level 2 heading, and then I'll show you how this is going to change. See how this has become smaller, and if I close it, and then if I even do 4-5 level 5 heading, then you will see that the heading font size becomes smaller. But this is how you would use, or how you would tweak around your headings to make sure you are giving the question number and answers, or making sure you have different levels of headings in that way. So that was the HTML document. Now let me go back here, and I'll try to produce the Word document. You could technically go to since you know how to do this, so let me quickly go here. I am going to go to R-Markdown, and then I could change all of this, and I could go to Word document, and then if you click on it, it's going to give you a new R-Markdown file to work with. But what I'm going to do is, instead of that, I'm just going to do put Word document here, and then instead of the HTML, now it's going to knit in a Word document. And here is the Word document. So you see all the output in Word document, and you can save this document wherever you want to, and you will have to show or submit wherever you need to submit. So I am going to show. So what I had done, I had put all the knitted documents on my desktop. It's on a different screen. It's not here, but you should be able to see it on the file where, or on the folder where you saved it. Now again, for a PDF document, if you go here and you start R-Markdown, and instead of HTML or Word, you would click on PDF and start over from the new as a new document. But I'm not going to go do that, because the only thing you're going to see a difference here is going to be a PDF document. But as I said in the very beginning, I have everything else the same. I have what I said in the very beginning is, if I try to knit it now, see what is here is an error message that says error, LaTeX failed to compile R-Markdown. Well, maybe it's more for PDF. And it says no LaTeX installation detected. LaTeX is required to create PDF output. You should install a LaTeX distribution for your platform, and you can do it from here. And then, because you would need to do MicTeX for Windows and MacTeX for Mac. So instead of that, you can just do you can install this TinyTeX, and from TinyTeX you would include the TinyTeX function. And if you want to know how to do this, maybe the best way would be to go to help, and then let's type here tiny tech. If we do that, it's going to show us all the help files here. TinyTeX install. Let's look at the second one. Okay, and then here is here is all the instruction for installing and uninstalling. And actually, if you go to the very bottom, you can even see a documentation in GitHub. In the GitHub of, I think this is a website for Ihui. I think this is the author. If you click on this, it's going to show us all the commands, all the options that are that you need for installing. So here, for our users, it says install packages. So let's spend a minute here. So if you ever need this, installing and maintaining TinyTeX is easy for our users, since the R package TinyTeX has provided wrapper functions, all of this. And it says, okay, install.package is this one, and TinyTeX install TinyTeX. So it says to compile an R-Markdown document to PDF, there is nothing else you have to know. If you want to read more, go ahead, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to put, I'm going to install this. Looks like it is installing. It's going to take a while to do all this. Okay, it took me a while to install this, but since I am done with this, I'm going to comment them out. And then what I may also want to do is actually, I'm going to remove this summary. so that the document is just going to have this table, because this is more useful, and we would like to see how the final output looks like. So I'm going to net it now again. I'm trying to create PDF document. If I net it, and then it is opened, well, it opens this way, but it should also, let me close this, and then it should also, I should have everything on my desktop. So here was the HTML version. So if I double click on it, it asks me to, how do you want to open this? I can open this in Internet Explorer. No, that did not work. Actually, it should be the HTML document should be in your web browser. So here's the version that I created earlier, and probably here is another one that shows the actual work. So with the summary command as well as with the stargazer. But what I want to see is so we saw this Word document. It has, again, I could have removed this command and it would just show me this table. But even better, let's look at the PDF document. This is more cleaner version. Actually, I wanted to remove the summary command, and it did not work. Okay, so I wanted to do, okay, so maybe what I'm going to do is run, and let me do one more time, and the PDF document still produces the same. What I did was I commented out the summary for one variable. I wanted to comment this thing out. So if I net it, it should give me a Word document. I should have it here. Well, here it is. And so this had just a table. But if I remove some space here, it may even look better. I'm just trying to, okay, let me pull all of this thing up here, and here's the output. So if I do, if I do all of that, okay, so I don't need this information. If I remove all the install packages, I'm just gonna try to show here. So if I do this and then net it, let me see this R-Markdown now, and then see this is much nicer document. Okay, so that's how you would do that's how you would produce R-Markdown documents. Now, if you have to submit either HTML or Word or R-Markdown, you should be able to do all of that. This video got longer than I thought it was going to be, but there you have all 3 ways of producing R-Markdown documents.